Hello there. I have a couple notes here, but otherwise I'm just going to be talking about stuff that's on my mind. Kinda wanted to ramble about some of the problems I have with Carnal Instinct in this video. The biggest one being that there isn't enough gameplay in Carnal Instinct. If you look at the game objectively, there is only three kinds of gameplay. Those are your quests, sexual encounters, and combat. Now, the quests in Carnal Instinct are decent. You have good voice acting and dialogue, the objectives are clear, and they include a mix of other gameplay loops. What sucks about the quests is that they are a band-aid solution for what the game really needs, which is depth. I mean, for example, I'd really like to have the option to go fishing and then sell my catch for coins, or have farms at the campsite. Then when you are out exploring the world, you can find seeds for the plants you want to grow. Now you don't just explore the world, but now you don't just explore the world for the sake of exploring or because a quest told you to. If we dwell on this if we dwell on this idea of farms for a bit, you could grow if you dwell on this idea of farms for a bit, you could grow grapes that could turn into wine. Then you could sell the wine for profit, or you could use it in rituals or sexual encounters to get people in the mood. Now, exploration is something that rewards you, and you can unlock special characters with the wine you made for your base. And while I'm spitting off ideas, here's some more. What about adding various merchants across the map, selling a variety of goods, each different from others, depending on whatever part of the map they're on. You could buy a gift from a merchant in the south, for example, and bring it to a person who moved up north. Show them that you care, increase your affinity with them, maybe even unlock more options in the bed after giving them a strap-on as a gift. I don't know. Or how about a casino? This would let you introduce some mini games, and also it would add in another way to make money. You could also set it up so that if you don't have any money to bet with, you could bet the clothes on your back, or bet the sword you have, or even give your services. Services. Yes, that's what they are. To the casino's important guests to pay off your debt. Or allow the camp to grow, to level up. It could start out as a camp, but eventually become a town of its own that you run. I don't know. I just like the idea of it being a harem who manages the parts of the town in exchange for love or something. I don't know. Could also expand on the combat system. I mean, we already have a new series of boss battles in the Unreal 5 build, and some sneak peeks into some of the other monsters that we could fight, so I'm looking forward to see more of that. Maybe in the future we could have some more magic, maybe add in a fireball or a seduce spell. I know that the abilities have been planned for the game for a long time. Or maybe make the different arrows that you see maybe they do different types of damage instead of just having different degrees of damage. I don't know. Just some ideas that I hope get included, but the main thing I do hope the devs improve on is the combat, or the feel of the combat. Even in the Unreal 5 build, the test build, the combat still feels clunky. I mean, I like the meatiness of some attacks, but otherwise, I feel like I'm fighting the controls more than the monsters, if that makes sense. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is that the game, as it is, lacks a variety of content. I know the devs are focused on making a good erotic experience, but it feels like that's all they do sometimes. I mean, the game was released for early access around 2020, and it's now nearing the end of 2023. They've had almost 4 years of development time on this game, with about 80 grand a month for all of those years. I mean, after all this time and money, it just feels so annoying with how little depth there is in the game. I only have a little experience making a few projects in Unreal Engine, so I know that the process of game development takes time. You need to implement and refine every mechanic you add. Take a careful balance of scope and with ambition. You can't let the scope of a project get so far that you can't ever actually build it. But even so, I feel like the devs haven't added in enough content for the time and the money that they have had. I mean, I can imagine that there is a tutorial out there for all of the ideas that I mentioned adding to the game, and I bet the devs could add them all in a week. There was a comment on one of my videos that basically said so many game devs start something, but then they keep drawing it out over time. They keep doing just enough work to get support on Patreon to keep things afloat. Sometimes I feel like the real big flaw with this game isn't the lack of depth, but it's the lack of motivation that the game devs have to finish what they started. I mean, it's been 4 years now, and this is all we have. That's that's a lot of time to get a lot of work done, and yet it doesn't feel like they have made any worthwhile progress, like anything that's worth it. I just think it's a shame how much potential the game has, but it won't ever get to make anything of it. Now that the pace of the development is going at. Anyway, I just wanted to get that off my chest. Hope you guys have a good day, and I'll see you later, alligators.